You are what you do when no one is watching. When there's no applause, no streak, no reward. When it's just you and the choice. And most people, if they're honest, don't like what they see in that moment. Not because they're weak, but because no one ever taught them what strength actually looks like, or how to build it. Here's what you were probably told. Some people are just built differently. They're tougher, more resilient. They can handle what you can't. And if you fall apart under pressure, that's just who you are. That story is wrong. And it's quietly destroying a lot of people. Because mental strength isn't a personality trait. It's a skill. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows when you use it, and atrophies when you don't. The question isn't whether you have it. The question is whether you've been training it. And if the honest answer is no, this video is going to show you exactly how to start. But first, I need to tell you something that might land harder than you expect. Most of your discomfort avoidance isn't protecting you. It's making you weaker. Every time you choose the easier path, the snooze button, the scroll instead of the task, the comfortable silence instead of the hard conversation, you're not resting. You're practicing weakness. You're teaching your nervous system that discomfort is a threat, and over time, that makes the first real blow land twice as hard. Which brings me to the question I want you to sit with. What happens to a person who has avoided every hard thing their entire life? When the hard thing finally finds them anyway? Let me tell you about Nick Vujicic. Nick was born without arms and without legs. Not metaphorically. Literally. No limbs. In a world designed entirely for people who have them. As a child, he struggled with depression so deep he contemplated ending his life before he was even a teenager. He felt like a burden. Like his existence was a mistake. Like the universe had handed him a life that was simply not meant to be lived. And yet, Nick Vujicic became one of the most sought-after speakers on the planet. He has stood on stages in front of millions of people across more than 70 countries. He is a husband, a father, a business owner, a person who radiates something that most fully limbed people never find. Not because his circumstances became easy. They didn't. But because he made a decision, quietly, repeatedly, unglamorously, to stop waiting for conditions to improve before he started living. Most of us are waiting. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for the fear to pass. And Nick, a man with no arms and no legs, is not waiting. What does that say about what's actually holding you back? There are 3 patterns that quietly erode mental strength in people who are otherwise completely capable. And most people are running at least one of them every single day. The first is constant complaint. Not the kind where you vent once and move on. The kind where you narrate your suffering, to yourself and everyone around you, on repeat. Every hard thing becomes a story about how hard it is. The more you tell that story, the more your brain learns it as your identity. The person things happen to. Complaint feels like expression, but in excess, it becomes a cage. The second is comfort addiction. Rest is real, and you need it. But there's a difference between rest and avoidance. And when every mildly uncomfortable feeling is immediately numbed by food, by scrolling, by the next distraction, you never build the tolerance that makes hard things survivable. You stay permanently fragile. Not because life is too hard, but because you've been too protected from it. The third is excuses. This one is subtle. Because excuses often sound like explanations. They sound reasonable. They sound like context. But underneath, they're doing one thing. Telling you that the outcome was never in your hands. And when you believe that long enough, you stop showing up. Recognizing any of that isn't shame. It's a starting point. Building mental strength isn't about dramatic overhauls. It's about deliberate daily friction, small doses of hard, repeated consistently until your default response to discomfort starts to shift. Physical movement every day, not for aesthetics. For the discipline signal, it sends your brain. Every workout you finish when you didn't feel like starting is a rep in your resilience training. You are teaching yourself that you follow through. That your word to yourself means something. Cold exposure. Even just a cold shower for 30 seconds at the end of a warm one. It's not a wellness trend. It's a direct confrontation with your brain's discomfort response. You feel the urge to stop. You stay anyway. Over and over, that builds something real. Stillness, whether it's meditation, journaling, or 5 minutes of genuine quiet. Learning to sit with your own thoughts without immediately reaching for distraction is one of the most countercultural things you can do right now. And the simplest practice, every single day, do one thing you don't want to do. Not a massive thing, just one thing that requires you to override the avoidant impulse, the email you've been putting off, the conversation you've been avoiding, the difficult decision. One thing. Daily. Compounded, that is not small. If what I'm sharing resonates, and you want to keep building this kind of quiet, lasting strength, consider subscribing. This channel is for people who are done with noise and ready for something that actually works. Now, the part most people get completely wrong. Emotional control. A lot of people think mental strength means not feeling things, suppressing emotion, being stoic and unreadable. That's not strength. That's a pressure cooker. Emotions that are buried don't disappear. They accumulate, and they will find a way out, usually at the worst possible moment. But the opposite is equally dangerous. Letting every emotion run you, reacting immediately, saying everything you feel the moment you feel it. That's just being at the mercy of your nervous system. The skill that actually matters is the pause. The moment between stimulus and response. Something happens. You feel the wave rise, and instead of reacting immediately, you wait. A few seconds. Long enough to ask, what do I actually want to do here? What response aligns with who I'm trying to be? That pause is where your character lives. It separates the person who escalates a conflict from the person who de-escalates it. The person who sends the regrettable message from the person who sleeps on it. The person who quits from the person who adjusts. You can practice this pause deliberately. In small situations first. Traffic. A frustrating comment. A plan that falls apart. Build the habit there, so that when the large moment comes, it's automatic. Because you will fall. That's not a warning. That's just the path. It doesn't look like a clean upward line. It looks like showing up, stumbling, showing up again. Every person you admire for their resilience has a story that includes failure, often multiple catastrophic ones. What separates them from the people who disappear quietly is not talent or luck. It's one thing. They got back up. Maybe slowly. Maybe without grace. But they got up. Your falls are not evidence that you're broken. They are part of the training. Every time you fall and choose to stand again. That is the workout. Motivation is a liar. Not always, not completely. But you cannot build your life on it. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are weather. They shift based on your sleep, your hormones, your last conversation. If you wait for motivation before you do the hard thing, you will spend most of your life waiting. Discipline is different. Discipline is a decision that's already been made. You don't negotiate with yourself every morning. You made that call. It's done. You execute regardless of how you feel. Because how you feel is not a reliable data point. That's the shift. Not from weak to strong in one moment, but from someone who acts when they feel like it. to someone who acts because they decided to. You don't need to overcome something extraordinary to build something extraordinary in yourself. You just need to start. Today. Not when conditions improve. Not when you feel ready. What's the one hard thing you've been avoiding? The thing you already know you should do? Start there. Just that one thing. And then do it again tomorrow. You are not broken. You are untrained. And training starts now.